Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of TimberPunk 2, where everything's looking pretty darn good, if I do say so myself, as the autosave kicks in and ruins that shot for me, but it's fine. Everything is looking really nice up here. We've got so much water stored up there. We've got everything, well, mostly everything green down here. I want to expand a little bit of this since we have a lot of this real estate now available to us, and we'll probably even break in over here and drop this a level so that we can actually have all of this land irrigated, which would be a fantastical thing for us to do, which means a little bit of blast work. We'll probably just do that with dynamite, and we've got the rest of this drought to work through to get that down and under, and then cover that with dirt, so that shouldn't be that much of an ask for us. It's just a matter of getting enough dirt and enough planks and all that fun jazz and enough explosives. But I think we're doing pretty good on explosives. I'm not a fan of how this is turning out over here. The total water storage back in this system obviously isn't working because all the water is basically spilling out of this spot. And then, of course, all of it's getting stuck in here, and then we could fix that a couple of ways. We could blast down. One of the comments in the comment section was like, blast down and just feed that back into the main reservoir over there, which I love the idea of that. But you see how big of a transition that's going to be, or how long of a tunnel it's going to have to be. It would take like 40,000 years to punch through all of that that rock just to get this back into here. And even if we drop this down, there's not much in the way of tunnelage or access tunnel-wise to get to that. Maybe we could punch into here. Maybe that's an idea. You know what? I take it back. We might be able to actually punch down into there and do that. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we'll work on that a little bit today, just so that the excess water that fills into here spills into here and all that fun jazz. But I also wanted to do another thing. I don't really have much of a good way to transfer water over here. So I think what this is going to be is a spillover area for when this is too full and it's just causing a problem. So it'll spill down here. It'll go over here. We'll put in like a sluice gate, I'm thinking, just to prevent anything from overfilling and causing us a flood system down here, which would not be cool. Then anything excess would spill off this side, which means we probably need to come over here and clean a little bit of this up. And I would also like to tap into these extra aquifers that I haven't tapped yet, and then somehow figure out how to tap that one. I'm not sure how I want to tackle that. We might come over here and put in a little bit of dirt, a little bit of terrain blockage right here, just so we can have a little piece of real estate to put our levees on right there. I'm thinking that might happen today. Either way, I do want to cut a line through here and then cut out the rest of this reservoir so we have have plenty of real estate to save as much water in here so that we can have our iron bots continue to pump all of this out for us, which would be a beautiful thing to do. And I was thinking, on top of that, I know, dangerous, for this piece of real estate to be our place where we're going to plant our mangroves, which we have not had a single mangrove in this entire playthrough yet. So it's probably going to look like a little cut through this levee right here, put in a sluice gate or something to just fill this area back in here. We're, of course, going to have to come back in here and fill this in. I want to fill this in with dirt. Then we'll put in a line of levees on this outer edge, and then we'll have a levee system or a sluice gate system to fill this in to at least a 1.5, and then we'll have to find another way to force water into it. Probably mechanical fluid pump or something along those lines, with some sort of sluice system tied to that as well, because the mechanical fluid pump will fill it up to, I think, 0.9 or 1.0 thereabouts, and then stop, in theory, right? And then the sluice gate will just release water as necessary to keep the actual field that I want irrigated, which I believe would be probably the best way of going about doing it. The problem with all of that, of course, is we're not storing much water up in this area that much. We've got 1 tile deep right now. In theory, we'll get up to 2 tiles deep once we get this cleared out. And then if we open up these 2 other aquifers or 3 other aquifers, maybe we can get up to 3 tiles deep, but that requires a little bit of levee work, which we're kind of lacking on the log side as well there. So that'll be something for us to work towards today. But first off, I want to clear out these thorns. I want to blast a line through here so that we can better control the water that's flowing into here, which means also blasting out a fair portion of this, getting this all down to this depth right there so that we can control the water a little bit easier that way. And then as a side project, I would like to start moving our way over here and working through all of that, since we haven't captured a drop of this water. And I also need to block off this bad water seep over here so we can have clean water down here. What I'm going to do with this, I don't know yet. I did take a little peek under the hood, and it's a 0.2 water seep, so it's not going to be producing that much in the way of water for us, but it's still water, which we could, in theory, fill this reservoir with, or fill any of the other things out there that we could think about. So those are things that I'm thinking that we're going to be tackling today. How much will get done? I'm hoping we'll get this done. This project over here is going to take a lot, because that requires a lot of that lumber to be removed. And this, digging through the 4,000 kajillion thorns over here, will of course take a lot of our time. And I think we can probably swap out a few of these guys. We're doing fine water-wise. I think we can get some bio beavers into those positions for us. But let's go ahead and hit that 3x speed button. Get these things up and running. And I do think we will go ahead and just swap these guys over. Get these positions filled appropriately with some bio beavers. And I think what we can do is also come down here and pause these guys. Thank you for the heads up there in the comment section about the path that I left down here. That has been removed, so these guys can appropriately pump down to the lowest level. So that is good for us. And we'll go ahead and swap these guys out and pause them for now. Come on, there's the button. There we go. So we'll come up here, we'll swap out all these positions with the bio beavers, and so we can get more of our bots into building positions, which will be quite beneficial, because we're about to start pushing through a lot of thorns, and I do not want to risk our poor little bio beavers' paws on that. Now let's go ahead and just check on all of these builders' huts, make sure that they're appropriately staffed. They are. Let's check on a few of these positions over here as well. I just want to make sure that those are staffed appropriately. Don't want any more beavers being hurt, bio beavers being hurt by all of that jazz. Now, I would like to get a bit more science up and running, so maybe we'll throw in another number cruncher at some point today, but that requires a lot of materials that we don't necessarily have. So that's going to have to take a little bit of a back seat for now. Go ahead and get in our builder's huts. I want to probably get in 2 of these. And another thing that I wanted to do today is wanted to start blasting a portion of this out. So I'm thinking blast this out, run our aquifer forward maybe a little bit more to here, and then we can have a nice pool to run through here. And then that means that we'll have a nice, beautiful splash pool, if you will. Maybe not the biggest of splash pools, but it'll still be pretty neat, if I do say so myself. Those are getting finalized by our bots, so that is good to see. We do have 2 spare beavers with nothing to do with their hands, but I believe that they will get taken care of as soon as we turn those on up here. I would love to put in a system for our tubeway guys to get over there to do all that, because we are going to be using this as a hub, if you will, for the mangroves, which would be beneficial for them. And I do also want to see how this is coming along. It looks like they are working on it, so that is good to see. Probably not my smartest way of building this, but it is going in, so that is all that matters technically. And they are placing all the platforms for us, and we are severely running out of lumber, and it is ridiculous. I think what's happening is a lot of this is going in. A lot of these are being transferred by our haulers, which means that it's in transit, so that's why you'll see these massive fluctuations. I also want to plus these guys up and make sure that they're prioritized by haulers. And we might even come over here and tap into that right here. So that is going to require a little bit of thorn clearing, or we just path over as much as we can through here and then through there, and then thorn clearing on this back end. We'll give this a low-ish, or just let that be a standard priority, and they'll get to that when they get to that. I don't know why they haven't started really tapping into that. Everything should be accessible for them. Probably because the building takes priority over clearing out rubbish or something along those lines. We still have a bunch of injured beavers floating around in the house, so that's not the coolest thing in the world, but it is what it is. We'll give them a set of stairs to get up there so they can finish that piece, which they blocked themselves out from being able to complete. We'll probably have to do the same thing on the other side, and I wanted to actually probably move this power shaft, drop this power shaft so I can have the two-way system sitting right here. So that will break the power system for a little bit. But I would like to wait until we have a little bit more in the way of planks and logs before we start making that maneuver, which would be the smart thing, allegedly. Now, these are prioritized now, so we could probably turn off the prioritization for haulers on these guys so they can just run and drop their logs off over here. Now, of course, their productivity is a little low because they are having to travel 5,000 miles just to get over here just to do their job in the first place. So maybe we'll go ahead and swap these guys out for bots just so they're working 24/7. And then we might even throw in some sort of power system for them over there. We do have our aquifers already in position right here, or all of the power shafts in position. So maybe we just tackle this real quick. We rip this out and give this a priority bump, and then we can just tackle or tack on some of the beautiful charging stations back in here, and that will let them continue to work to their heart's content, and that will be a good thing for us. And how? Now, these have been filled, which means they're filled with biobeavers, which is not what we wanted to see. Now they are appropriately filled with bots, and we have a bunch of bots without power. No goods selected. What were you supposed to be? I moved you and never actually changed or told you were supposed to be. That's on me. We'll go ahead. That's already set to obtain. This is going good. We have all of this real estate back claimed for us, so that is awesome. We can clear out a little bit of this just so that provides a little bit more farmland to play with. I wonder what this does. I'm very curious if that will pass irrigation over here. I don't know if that'll actually do anything. This will block a little bit of the water on the back end, which is kind of stinky, but is fine. Random dynamite that I don't recall planting there, but it's free real estate or free explosives for us, which means it's free storage for water later, which would be a fantastical thing for us to take advantage of. All right. So they are still pumping all this out. That's fine. This water is basically trapped now or thereabouts until they continue to pump the rest of that out. And then I also want to get in here and rip out these thorns, rip out these thorns here, and do the same there and there. So just do that all the way across the board, and that will be a good thing for us. Probably don't need to go this far over. So let's go ahead and cancel that, and that. 3 wide should be more than enough to meet the intent there. Then we'll be able to come in here and then go ahead and blast this out right here. And we'll do a double along this line right there. Then we'll put in... Nothing to do within range. What are you doing? Oh, you're a scavenger flag. Words. What was I thinking? How did I want to tackle this? Bum, bum, bum. Is that necessary? Are those explosives necessary? Yes, because then that allows us to feed over water appropriately. So we'll probably do a sluice gate and then a levee. Yeah, we'll have a sluice gate on the bottom, levee on top, and that will be fine. That'll fill this area in, and then we won't, or in theory, shouldn't run into an issue with our water overfilling. Let's go ahead and tack on these charging stations back here. Maybe we do that over here. Let's do that. Let's give this a priority bump over the other side, and that will... you know what? Let's not do that. Let's cancel that. Then we'll just run power right here to there, and then we'll throw in our charging stations right here, here, and here. Probably don't need that many. I think that'll be fine for our intent there without too much consternation, I hope. Maybe. We shall see. And then additionally, this is all placed. I know how to speak the English language. I don't know why I just said that. Like I just... I am ridiculous. Okay. That's going to not cause any problems for us to remove that. We'll blast that out. We'll clear this out as well. Someone commented, actually, why don't you blast a little bit more of this down? I can't. It's the bottom of the map. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I can blast a little bit of these little areas out though, which is nice. You know, I like having nice clean areas to work with. Maybe. That's in. They are planting all this stuff really quickly, and I am happy to see that. You have a bunch of bots still running around. I have injured beavers. It probably has something to do with the fact that I had them working on something while I had those two builders' huts up and running for those guys to work on, which is not the coolest, and I would still love to get over here and rip this out. Let's give this a priority. I want this done so I can plant all of that. Now, in theory, we should have enough bots running around to facilitate that cleanup, and then I would also like to somehow get somebody in here to rip out all these scrap ruins for us, which would be a pretty Gucci for us. I like that, but I don't really have the means to access that without... Yeah, I can't touch that from there. So you can't put your scavenger flags in the water. That's the problem, right? Okay, let's see if placing a set of stairs here and here gives us access to that. Does not. Don't know how I want to tackle that, or how I can tackle that. I could put in a platform up top. Something along those lines. And then that would give us something to work with. Or we could just leave these ruins there. They're on the level that I need everything to be on, so I'm not too concerned with that, honestly. Okay. Let's go ahead. I know I said it wasn't necessary to rip out all these thorns, but it's kind of necessary to rip out all these thorns. I would like to have all of this blasted down sooner rather than later, and that will be a good thing for us. That means tearing all of that out, tearing all of this out, tearing all of that out, tearing that out, and so much will be torn out. It'll be awful to actually tackle for the next umpteen years to do all that, but it will be a nice thing to have all cleared up. So what we might do is I might go ahead and mark all this for clearing, and then let them clear that for a few seconds, and then we'll come back and see how things are looking. So I think we'll go ahead and do that. Just going to take a final look-see, make sure I'm not breaking anything by doing so. We've got all the bots working on all of that. They've got places to go charge, which is a good thing. And then they should be able to gain access to everything, hopefully without too much issue. They can't reach any of that for now, but that is easily done by throwing that in right there. And then maybe we'll have to run some pathing around here, but that's fine. We will tackle this very quickly. So we'll see you guys in a few seconds. We'll catch you on the flip side. Future Shadow here, judging myself and my terrible decisions and decision making in this build. I do apologize to everybody who's commented about using tunnels to clean up this mess. I probably could have saved a lot of time, effort, and pain and suffering, and maybe a few bots. So go ahead and throw all those comments in the comment section, just making fun of me for doing terrible, terrible things. For all of our beavers. Okay? Just yuck it up. I can take it. Go for it. Okay. Enjoy the music. Enjoy past me continuing to make terrible decisions. Okay. See ya. All right, I may have gotten a little bit of ahead of the game here, a little bit. I do apologize wholeheartedly. I forgot to keep an eye on the demolition of all the thorns. And I got the guys working on some thorns back here too in the background. So as we keep building and moving stuff and throwing explosives in, we can tackle that. And then I added this little bad Johnny in here to help facilitate the charging of all of our bots, because these three were not meeting the demand. And of course, you'll notice a little bit more science moving back here. And we'll probably throw in a few more as time goes on and as we can generate more power, which is something I would like to get up and running over here. And then I threw this in. I went ahead and blasted that out and got that running so we could fill this thing in a little bit easier, because all the water was just getting stuck over here, and I wanted the water over here. So that's what's happening there. course, we're slowly putting in the irrigation or slash the levee so that we can capture a little bit more water. But I don't think we can capture too much more water without a little bit of an issue here. So this may be overkill, but if it either way, I don't think it's going to be an issue for us. So that is going in. So now all we get to do for the next 6 to 9 minutes is do some exploding, and hopefully not exploding our bots in the process. So I hear that that's a no-no. We don't want to do that to our poor little bots. Of course, they haven't touched any of this. So let's go ahead and get that knocked out. Had a bit of an issue pertaining to explosives since I burnt through like 200 plus explosives pretty quickly. So I had to throw in an explosives factory, and then I threw in a food factory to start processing corn. We got a happiness well-being of 19 now that finally popped off. It helped to give them a little bit more of a swimming area to play in. I blasted this out and made that nice and clean. And I made this transition for the water a little bit easier, so this will be a nice deep pool here to store even more water in. Now, how much water we'll be able to actually store down here is yet to be determined, because we have yet to finish this whole plan right here, which does require me to do some shenaniganry, which I have not quite gotten knocked out yet. It basically entails ripping this out right here and then somehow blasting through. I think that's a piece of dirt right there. If we come around, you'll probably see the same on this side, and I think we should be fine to rip that out. Okay, clearly not. So we'll have to come back in and re-attack that, but we should be able to just hit this button right here. I think it's low enough that it's not gonna cause. Okay, it's not low enough that it's not gonna cause a problem for us. But what we can do after we figure out how to get up there, let's rescue that poor bot that's now stranded because of my decisions. Yep, let's rescue that guy and then gain access to all that spot for us. So please and a thank you. Let's see if we can get somebody in there and see if they'll rip these trees out faster than somebody ripping out thorns. We'll see. We shall see. Of course, that's one stranded bee building, one stranded beaver. We have a bunch of beavers, nothing to do with in range. These guys have been slowly ripping through all of that pretty quickly. We'll get, hopefully, those trees chopped down instead of ripped out. We'll see what happens there. That guy's rescued now, so that's pretty good. That's fantastic, and you love to see it. Now, let's see here. They got all of that ripped out for us, so we can start placing some more of our dynamite in here. We want to do doubles here. They got all of this placed in here, so that is also good. Had to do a little bit of finagling on some of this stuff here just to get it into position for us in a semi-decent manner. Whether or not it works as advertised is yet to be determined, but we are making a progress. Now, what I would like to do is put this in right here, and we will just have this closed for now because we don't have a place for any of that water to go at this point. But we can also unpause this, but I also want to give this a priority. Actually, let's not unpause that one yet. You're paused for a little bit until they get this done. Yeah, let's do that, shall we? Okay, that just needs them to slap it a little bit more, and that'll be ready to rock and roll. That'll be fantastic. It'll be amazing. There it is. That's in position. Now we can unpause that. Then it's just a matter of, I guess, finalizing the rest of this line here, maybe? Maybe? I don't know. We'll do it anyway, just for giggles. I kind of want to still have access to all this up here. I want to kind of clear a lot of that out, but it's fine. It's fine. This is not the prettiest, but it will do. We'll probably have to do something along these lines right here, which means putting in this bad Johnny like this, and then like this. And then ripping that out. Putting this path right there. And we should have access to everything without too much consternation. That guy still has access to that one piece of scrap metal right there, so that's good. They can work all the way around and do everything. This did its thing as advertised, so we're not causing any more problems on this end. And now, after I do one more look over, just making sure I don't accidentally explode any bots again, because that totally didn't happen. Everything's totally fine, guys. Don't worry about it. I didn't explode a bot. Okay? Just, yeah, I totally didn't destroy a bot, okay? Don't worry about it. Alright? Okay? Okay, I think we can rip that out without too much issue, and then we can throw in this levee right here. And that will be all on the same level. I really don't think this is necessary, but I'm going to have it in anyway, just in case. I don't anticipate that being an issue. This is nice and full now, so that should feed into this side as they continue to pump all this out. But they're not really pumping out too fast because we're maxed out on total food capacity, or water capacity, I should say. Sitting at 23,000 out of 23,850. So these guys have been working relatively slowly. And I think we can start tacking in a few more of our hauling posts around here because they are definitely being underutilized in their entirety. So I think what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and toss in a few, not builders' huts, hauling posts. Please and thank you all. Get that out of there. Hauling post right there. Let's throw this in right here. Nope, not right there. Come on. There we go. And then back in the district manager hauling post right here. Then we can rip that out. These bots are falling apart left and right next to me, and it's throwing me off, man. Throwing off my groove. Really want to tear all this out and get this off of the ground so that we can actually take advantage of all this real estate that we have down here. But alas, that is not within our capabilities at this point. I'll just drop that priority wise. And I again have more homeless beavers, so let's get that rectified real quick by doing something along those lines, putting in another bit of housing back here. And I think we've got a little bit of juice, and this might be worth the squeeze to do something a little nice for our guys. Doing something like this. We haven't really done much in the decoration side of things. I like doing this especially for the Iron Teeth, just because it's hard to get on top of the roofs to put actual roofs onto the buildings themselves. So giving them this little shtick seems to be the easiest and the cleanest way to do about it and do the roof bonus. You know, I can't complain. The beavers definitely don't complain. Their happiness goes up. So I say that's a win. At least, yeah, I'm going to claim that it's the win that it is. So there. Sorry about you. Okay, we are definitely running through this water really slowly, which is really good. Again, has something to do with us having 23,000 units of water floating around, so I don't think we'll have any issue with water production, water procurement anytime soon. My main problem right now is actually just producing enough of the base foods. I think I've got it. It's just a matter of having a place to store it. So that's one of the things that I would like to get sorted out at some point today, though it's going to be pretty low on the priority list because we still have other things that I would like to tackle. Like, well, first, I'm giving these guys a path to not be homeless anymore. There we go. That's done. I want to finish this. I want to finish this. So we're going to finish this, okay? This is going to be beautiful. Just make sure nobody's doing anything ridiculous down here, okay? That's all in. This is all cleaned up. I think we can rip out a few of these pieces down here. I didn't mean to actually rip that out. What are you? Your doubles there. So let's go doubles there. Rip out that bad Johnny. Recover those goods as well and get that double piece in right there, right here, right now. That'll be beautiful. And I think that we can actually do the same there and get some more. I think they're triples here. I may have done things a little bit wonky. Hopefully I didn't break anything. If anything, if push comes to shove, we'll just go backfill with the appropriate amount of dirt. Should not be a problem. Question is, did I place that double right there? I did not. Get them over there to clean that up just so that we can get that out of the way. And once that's cleaned up, we should, in theory, be able to blast this out. And there's a little bit more happiness for everybody. Awesome. How are we doing explosives wise? We're doing pretty good. We're kind of hurting on the bot production side of the house. So I think what we need to do is turn all of this on. Swap you guys over to bots. I think we're doing decent on all of those guys. And I'm going to get you out of those positions so that we're not hurting any of our beavers. And that will vamp up production. I think these guys are pretty much slowing down productivity wise just because they don't have enough material. I did throw in a couple of these control towers, which is one of the reasons why I threw in these additional number crunchers back there so that we could feed these without too much issue in that regard. Now you are done. You are bored. We can get you out of there, and that is good. And I said it was good, said the beaver overlord to his little beavers, because he's a crazy man who plays with beavers. Anyway, I digress. Let's get some of this stuff cleaned up, get it out of here. We don't like losing our planks. We don't like losing our treated planks either, because those are all pretty useful for us. Now, do I care to get over here and clean all this up? Probably not. Probably. I don't know. Let's get that cleaned up and out of here, and let's... No, I'm going to leave that there. That's fine. This is going to be quite the huge explosion here soon. I need you cleaned up and out of here. And I would also like to throw in a triple right there. Let's do singles right here. I could have sworn I put all this in. So that's on me for not paying attention to all of my friends. So we're just going to go doubles all the way across the board, like such as... They never gained access to any of that because reasons, so we can get that right there, and then that should give them access. So I found that they can rip thorns out if they are one below. That's it. They can't go above, they cannot go more than one below. And it looks like we're actually making some decent progress into this. We might have to dig into our mine sooner rather than later, which is fine. We just don't necessarily have the bots right now to get them into all of those positions. Though I do have copious amounts of builder bots right now running around, so we might move in that direction here sooner rather than later, just because we have the capacity to do so. Question is, can I reach that? I don't think I'll be able... Oh, it says I can. I don't know how, but it says they can, so I'm not going to fight them there. It doesn't help that 7 of our bots are out of power. That's probably why we're getting so many positions going unfilled. So that'll clear itself out here relatively shortly. I think we can rip that out without any issue, and then we can put this explosive in right there. We can also rip that out without any issue and throw that in right there. I would like to reclaim that, but that's not going to happen. They're going to get over there hopefully soon and get that put in for us, and that will be a glorious. Throw in that triple dynamite right there, which will be pretty Gucci, and we'll do the same right here. And then once we get all this in, we can start working our way down and over and clearing a lot of this and making this a little bit more square. But I'm okay with just having a huge pond here. A nice, deep, huge pond. And in 10 days, we can fill this up, which would be a glorious thing for us to see. I'm happy to see it. And of course, while all that was going, it took me quite a few cycles to get to this point right here, just because of the amount of time it takes to tear through all of these thorns. And they have still not finished tearing through all of these thorns, which is actually not shocking in the least. Really don't need to clear out all these thorns, but it's just for aesthetic purposes, okay? Aesthetics make me happy. And it makes the map maker mad when I clear out all of his thorns, because I have conquered his map for the most part. I can't say I've completely conquered it until we have everything up and running. And we have Beavertopia in TimberPunk 2. Now, will that happen anytime soon? I don't know. This is quite the mess that we have to clean up. Quite the mess. Why are there explosives? That was a lot of rubble. Oh, that was the explosives that I tore out of there to... Never mind. Yeah, I had to come up with a plan to prevent us from flooding everything, which meant ripping out some of the explosives that I had pre-planted. But anyway, I digress. Let's see here. Are we done with all of those things? It does appear that we are. We can rip that out, and then we can throw this in right here. And they won't be able to recover those, so that's fine. We will rip that out there. We will rip this out, question mark? And that out. And we can place that dynamite right there. Then we can place this dynamite right here. They won't be able to gain access to that, but it's 6 planks. And we're just gonna rip that out. Rip that out, rip that out, rip that out. Get that out of here. Get out of here. Let me put that there, this there. We're still going to need access to get back up here and replant all of these explosives, but I think we're in a good enough position right now that we can start blasting away. I just need to make sure that I'm not breaking anything by doing this. I think we're fine there. That should stop. Let me do the same here, maybe? We're going to have to actually get into there and do a little bit of shenaniganry like that, which is fine. Did I not? Can we get that ripped out, please? That would be greatly appreciated. They'll get that placed. It seems as though our bots have recharged, so we can turn a few of these positions back on. This is all great thing. And how are we doing on the production of bot parts? It looks like things are going in a better way. Bot chassis seem to be the holdup right now, and I'm not entirely sure why that is the holdup. We've got plenty of material for all of those things. We've got yeah, the productivity's good, so they should meet the demand there. Okay. Autosave is doing autosave things. Okay, so let's go ahead, give that a max priority, because I want that out of here, and I would like to also clean up a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. Which also looks like a little something like that. We do a little something like that as well. I don't think that should cause any issues for us, and we're gonna let that work itself out, you know? Don't you know? Okay, so that can go boom, this can go boom, this can go boom. And now we can start placing triples in here again. And that'll be good, I think. Yeah, I may have made a mistake. It's fine. Get that out of here. We'll throw that in. We're probably going to have to build back down here again anyway, so we'll take a few seconds. Take a few seconds, give this a priority, and we'll get that filled in. And let's take a look on this side, see how this is coming along. It looks like it's coming along swimmingly. That can be a triple, that can get erased. This side can go boom. As can this. And so can all this. And let's have a nice little exploding montage. Go! I love a good explosion on a Saturday morning while it's snowing and sleeting outside. The weatherman said we're going to get 0 to 69 inches of snow and or ice this weekend. So we'll see how that all pans out, you know. So, you know, that'll be great. Okay, let's throw all this back in. We should still have access to all this. We haven't torn out any of our pathways yet. No, we do not have access to that. Where did I break the path? I broke the path somewhere. Where did I break the path? Through there. That's where I broke the path. I thought this was still connected down here. Hold up. Okay, pull that back up. There we go. Can I put this in right here? No, I cannot. Yeah. Get that ripped out. Let's give that a max priority and we'll crawl back down this side. Okay, and then we rip that out. We rip this out. And then we do a little clear up of that. Get this double in here. And then we can have some more fun. I think we can blast all of this without too much consternation. Maybe, hopefully. I have to come over here and put that in, which shouldn't take too much time, but we can blast this out. We can also blast this out. We should be able to blast this out, as well as this. Whoa, okay. We didn't just explode somebody, did we? Okay. Whew. All right. Why is that so low? That's not what I wanted to happen. Boo. Not what I wanted to happen at all. Why? Fine. We're still working our way down there. They are cleared out now, so we can blast this out. Blast this out. Blast this. Blast this. Yeah, I've made quite the mess with this entire shtick. Quite the mess, indeed. Oh yeah, such a big mess. We're gonna have to fix that, you know, don't you know? But it's all good. Now we've got a nice big piece of real estate to play with. The perpetuity. This will be glorious. So many explosions. You guys can make fun of me for still not having a button to quickly press all these buttons. I really should have cleaned that up, but I didn't. Fine, everything's fine. We can blast all this out. Lay boom. I was about to be concerned there. I was like, why is there a hole in my wall? But it's okay. Everything's fine. And blast that. We can hit this button too. And we can hit this button and then this button. And they didn't actually get back here to do any of that. That's fine. Yes, yes. Skadoosh, skadoosh. That out, rip that out, rip that out. Go ahead and rip all of that out. And now, gotta find a way to actually crawl down there. Also rip all of this out. And now, we check on why you have nothing to do within range. Another scavenger flag. This is such a huge mess. I can't believe I've done this, but I can believe I've done this in such a horrible manner. It's fine. You know, it's totally okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, this should be just a simple set of stairs right there. Connect that right there, and then connect to that. And that will do the job. Now we can start throwing in a few more explosives around the block. Remember that Jenny is not on this block, guys. She is not here. She doesn't want your number. Okay? Alright. I'm glad we had that talk. Okay, now we throw in a double here, and I think what I'm going to do is clean up my mess, and we'll see you on the flip side. Alright, we'll see you in a few seconds. Alright. I think we've got the majority of this mess cleaned up. Now we get to do a little bit of exploding. Which is, again, one of my favorite things to do in this game. I need to clean this up. Oops. And that up. Double oops. Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. We got that all placed in there, so that's all good. We can work that out. And just throw in this double right here, and then we can just hit this button right there. And that should make this a nice, big, beautiful piece of real estate right here. If we wanted to, we could come in here and place some more stuff in there, but I think we're fine for now. For now, it will do. Gonna throw that up there, throw in our double because I'm very bad at doing stuff. And then we're going to rip this out, rip that out. Go ahead and chuck this in right there, and then it'll cover down up top there. Okay. So blast a little bit more of this out. And then get to the other thing that we had planned for this episode, which is unlocking the hydroponic gardens. Which is actually one of the things that we would really like to do, because that provides us with good foodstuffs, which makes our beavers even happier. And I like making our beavers nice and happy, don't you know? That's in. That can go boom. That will take a second for them to reach, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and check on all this. Thorn is maxed out, so that's good to see. Everything else is maxed out food-wise, even berries. We've got 1.6k units of berries floating around, so that is a glorious thing. This did not get completed, it looks like, because they weren't able to reach that, so that's cool. It's a good thing we didn't put anything in here yet. Whoops. We do only have bots working in here, though, so we should be able to just sneak somebody in to do a little something like this and cap that off, theoretically. But that also pauses there because of reasons. It's the end of that bad tide, so that is cool. Go ahead and give this a max priority, get that done and finalized, and that should, in theory, prevent it from spewing poo water ever again. Can I put levees on top of here? I can. Let's just do that there, too. Just to make sure that it doesn't have anywhere to escape to. It shouldn't. But we're going to put that in anyway. Great. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love to see it. Water is flowing again too, so this will be filled back in and they can get that up and running. They're throwing all those in so they can get up here and place that cap on there, so that'll be glorious to see. It means the impermeable flooring gets to go in, which in turn means that all this gets to be covered up, and then we have no more pool water down here. Now, do we want to... I think maybe this is the easiest way of going about doing this. Just rip this out there. Let's go ahead and I think we'll just blast some of this down. How are we doing explosive-wise? We're doing decent on explosives, so we can blast a little bit of this out, right? Okay, that's a nice clean piece of real estate to work with, and the same thing there, and that will be a nice... We can also get somebody up here real quick. Nice and quick like. To chop the rest of those logs down for us, which should be marked as they are. Brilliant. That's capped off. That's capped off. So that is good. We should have no more poo water incidents in this room down here ever again. We'll go ahead and throw that in. They still have access to all that right there, so that is good. We can rip that out. Then I believe we could actually just go ahead and rip this entire line out right here. There's no need for that to be there anymore. And what we'll have to do is we'll break this line for a few minutes, which won't be that big of an issue. Rip that out right there. We're going to rip this out right here. Going to go ahead and throw that in right here. Skadoosh, and like that. Then we rip this out here, and now we go ahead and do a little something like that, Put this bad Johnny in like such as, and that should not cause us any issues. Now we'll give those a priority over the explosives going in, which is always a good thing. I did not connect that up. Now that is connected, and that should make everything nice and green in here. Let's pull this back down. I do want to check out how this is doing. Oh, yeah. You guys are all stranded. That'll get rectified soon. Don't worry about it. See, there you go. And we only have 2 stranded beavers now. How are you stranded there, my guy? How are you stranded on top of... What are you doing? My dude. What are you floating on? And you're floating over here. Hello? Are you okay? I don't know how to rescue you. Get rid of that, maybe? Okay. Well, that was weird. Alright. And the other guy, did he get rescued too? Well, he disappeared. Okay, whatever. It's fixed. Which is fine. That's all connected now, theoretically. It is. Now we're nice and green down here. Now we can blast all this stuff out. And that will look a little something like this. Like that and like that. And that will go in. That won't take but 10 seconds. And we still have 7 bots with nothing to do with their hands. Which is fine. How is this doing water-wise? We are filling it up beautifully. Blast a little bit of that out. Min temperate cycle, which is kind of stinky. There's not much we can do about that. This is filling in, and we could probably close all of these, honestly. Yeah, those are good to be closed. I think that's totally fine. We'll feed this side with this side. This will be the overflow area. That's okay. That means we get a little extra pocket of water back here. Look at all of the non-existent thorns here, guys. Look at how beautiful this area is now. This looks so nice. This looks so beautiful. We'll get a few more of those bots over there doing some of that stuff. They're over here cleaning this out. This is a side project that I put them on as well, so that we can start clearing a lot of this out and get this prepared for our mangrove forest, which will be a beautiful forest of mangroves. Is it really? Would it be considered a forest? I don't know if it'd be considered a forest. I think, however, we can swap out a few of these positions. Getting all of those bot manufacturers and bot part factories up and running has definitely put us into a bot surplus, which means we're doing much better on... I don't know why I'm putting them in there. I would rather have them up here, actually, because there is much more water up here for them to pump out. And honestly, I think we could probably just pause all this stuff down here. Leave all this irrigated for a prolonged period of time. And we'll get more beavers into hauling facilities and go ahead and just swap all these guys out. Actually, let's click the easier button, hit this button. We'll scroll down to our water pumps, which is way down. Did I pass it? Deep water pumps. It's a D. It starts with the D. We'll just swap all these over to bots. Like this. That way I don't have to click 40,000 different things. And how? We have a lot of deep water pumps. That should put us in a decent position. We're one bot shy, which is probably... No, it's not due to being injured somewhere. I don't know where we're getting these 3 injuries, 3 injured beavers from right now. They shouldn't be in any jobs where they could be hurt. I'm pretty sure I changed all those out. I think I took them out of all of the building positions as well. Not entirely sure what is causing that problem for us, but alas, it is happening. Okay, we will survive. This is filling up beautifully. I am happy to see that. This is probably not going to fill up much higher than this, though. We got that all filled in. I did want to blast a little bit of this out, too, just to clean up this line here. Then, yeah, this is looking really, really good. How is this coming along down here? Let's check this out. I want to make sure I'm not accidentally exploding a beaver, which I about did. Go ahead and pause you so you're not doing anything ridiculous. Let's blast this out. That looks really good. We'll rip those stairs out. We'll rip these out. Throw in a little bit of explosives in here. And we'll throw in a little something like that as well. And that will be a nice piece of real estate for us to work with. Don't think we'll be able to actually use that real estate, honestly, but it's fine. Rip all this out, like such as, and we throw in our last piece of stairs right there. Let them come up here and work on the rest of that. We'll unpause you. We'll get somebody helping with hauling purposes on that end, and that will be a beautiful. Now, food. Hydroponic garden. This is going to consume a metric ton of our water, but this is fine. It looks like we are running into a bit of an issue already. Max height is... Oh, it's probably because I was... Yeah. Okay. That looks a little something like that. I want this to be blasted out of the way. And I think if I can get rid of that little corner there, we could reclaim a little bit of this real estate down here too, which would be really nice. Also like to clear a little bit of that out here so we can get 3 or 4 stacked on top of each other. That would be pretty Gucci. And then we go ahead and just finish up this line down here. 2, 3, and 4, like such as. Pull this path back. And now we do a large tank down here. These guys are going to consume a lot of water. Probably put in a couple large tanks down here. We want obtain selected. And we can go ahead and rip that out. That out. Lose a few planks. That's fine. We'll get this connected back over here. Get that guy in right there. And then once we're done up here, I really don't care to get up there, but it's some lumber. So that's not a bad thing for us to have. That is a little bit more water there. And let's clear up this pathway just a tad bit. Get this connected like such as. That's awesome. Then we do more hydroponic gardens. Right here, here, there, and there. And we do it all the way up. Maybe I do that one more over. No, there's no room. There is no room to do such things, which is fine. There's our drought. It's a 20-day drought, which is acceptable. I do want to get in a bunch of these bad Johnnies. I think maybe like this. Probably the best way of going about doing that. And then we put this in Now we put this in right here. And then this in right here. We do a little pathy path like such as. You just connect all these up like there. And then we do something a bit of an inverse of that. Like there. Then we put more of these small storages. I think we can just stack all these small storages up on top of each other like this. Where was that other one? Right here. 2, 3. Do I want that there? Probably not. I want it here. I want that there, which means I didn't put a path there, so that's fine. You go. Yeah, you go right there, and then you go right here. Now, should be good. Really didn't help with the reduction in total. I don't need these paths here either. Get that out of there. Get that out of here as well. There's no need for that to be there. Well, there was a need for that to be there. My bad, G. Get that connected beautifully. I didn't tell you to be that thing. Now the guys up top can continue to pump in some water for us. And then these guys, as they get into position, they'll come in and fill all those positions for us. Which will be Gucci. That's our stairwell to the next layer. So that means that we do something like that. We do a little something like that. And then we throw this bad Johnny in right here. We grab this path and we do that. And I forgot to throw this guy in. Just go ahead and throw that all the way up to there. That one doesn't need to go right there. And we rinse and repeat. Don't think we need to go that high, actually. Give me that back. Give me that back. Up one more. Give me this. Get out of there. And now we do shenaniganry. Okay. I want you to be a supply hub of mushrooms. We're going to copy that all the way up to the top. And then you are going to be a supply hub of algae, which is that button. We're going to copy that all across the board. Go ahead and throw this in so everybody can get around. Like there. Did I put that on top of something weird? I probably did. And we'll do the same. You go there. And what did I miss? I missed that line right there. And bada bing, bada boom. I wanted algae here. Supply hub, boosh, boosh, boosh. And lay boosh. There we go. That's all in. Now this side and that side. So this side will be algae. This side will be mushrooms, right? So I want one to replace you guys eventually with bots. But first, mushrooms, copy. And now we should be able to actually rip these out. put our 4th layer in there. Hydroponic garden. And that will be the soda's mushrooms, so you guys are algae. Algae. I like that you can click on the question marks. That makes life so much easier. Now they're going to consume a metric ton of this water to meet the demands there, and this should more than meet the requirement for all of this. This is completely empty because this never did fill up entirely, which is kind of anticipated. You guys are all paused. This majority of the water should stay in here for perpetuity, which is a beautiful thing. And now we get to the next project, which will be doing all of this. But I think we'll call this episode here, as we have cleared out a metric ton of thorns. We are clearing out even more thorns as we speak. And we are making progress and clearing out the rest of this tunnel back here. We're getting so much irrigated. We have so much water storage here. We have so much water storage in general available to us. 26,000 units of water available to us. And science is cranking and cruising. And we've got 30,000 units to freaking play with. And I am happy to see it. We'll just chillax right here and view the beautiful things that we have accomplished today. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that as well. If you want to join us on the party that is us cruising to all the greatest things that a beaver man could ever hope for. Anyway, I digress. Have a fantastic day. Stay safe out there. Don't do anything dumb, dangerous, different. That's my job, and we'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.